Hey, what's up everybody? Today I'm going to show you how to make connected text with an offset path using Lightburn. So the first thing you want to do, of course, is start with text. I'm using a font called BigBlueLaserDesigns, and it's nice and chunky. So whatever you use, I just recommend that you use a nice thick font to make this a lot easier so pieces don't fall apart. So I'm going to type my son's name, and we'll say Mitchell's room there. And first thing we'll do after typing it is we're going to move the letters closer together, and we're also going to turn it into a path so that we can then weld them together and cut it out. I want to point out something real quick. A lot of you who are using Lightburn might already have this switch on right here that says welded, which is fine normally, but we're going to need to turn that off here in just a minute. I'll leave it on and show you why we need to turn it off. So the first thing we can do is we can change the horizontal space like this and move them closer together so that they're pretty close to touching or touching, and then we're going to work on that a little bit. So I'm going to unclick the welded so each letter is separate, and I'll show you why. Because with different fonts, they tend to have somewhat uneven spaces between each letter, and I want to make them exactly the way I want them. I don't want to be forced to use the spacing they have. So I'm going to make sure I have welded turn off. I've turned down the horizontal space to -6, but we're going to move it even more on our own. And then I'm going to right click and convert to path. And now I've got each one of these letters I can move individually. So starting with the I, I'm going to leave the M where it is. Starting with the I, I'm going to select the dot and the I. I'm going to turn it probably counter or clockwise just a little bit so that it doesn't look like it completely is part of the M. Then I'm going to move the T where pretty much right where it is, just where it's touching both pieces a little bit. Bring the C in. I'm going to rotate the C slightly because I don't want this end to run completely into the H. I want it to still be recognizable as a C. I'm going to turn that one just a little bit more too. Bring the H in like that. E I'm going to treat just like the C because I don't want this side to the right side to run into the L completely. This also gives it a little bit of a playful feel since this is a child's name. And then I'm going to move the L's in like that. I'm going to make this second L a little higher than the first one so that it doesn't run into one long line here at the bottom. And then we'll move the S in so it touches, and then the apostrophe we'll put right up here somewhere like that. Then as you expect, we're going to move the letters here, but you'll notice that the inside of the O's are not actually connected. So I'm going to go ahead and select both parts of the O and then go to Tools and Subtract, so that they become all one shape. Do the same thing with the other one while I'm here. Shift Enter or Shift Select to get both of them, and then subtract. And now I'm going to move this over here like this. You may choose to rotate the R if you want to. I'm not going to in this case. Oh, I missed it. I didn't get it right. Let me get this right this time. There we go. Move that one over a little bit. You decide how much you want it to overlap. Bring this one over. And now we can go ahead and select all of that, and we can go to Tools, Weld Shapes. Tools, Weld Shapes. And now that makes it all one shape. And we'll do the same thing with Mitchell's. Select it all. Tools, Weld Shapes. And now we're almost done. Now we're just going to move this up to where it's in line with Mitchell's. I'm going to select them both. And I'm going to use the Align Center right here so that they're centered one over the other. Move it a little bit closer. And then the last step we need to do is select everything and then go to Tools and Offset Shapes. It's going to ask you how much of a distance you want. I have an eighth of an inch, 0.125. And I'm going to make sure that the corner style is round so that all these follow the outline of the letter there. Hit OK, and now I've got my two shapes. And all I've got to do from here is, if I'm going to cut this on my laser, of course, is just move that off like that. And now I've got both the letters and the outline, and we're done.